And hello, everybody. Meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you. A tornado warning has been issued by the National Weather Service Forecast Office for the Brainerd Lakes area. We'll analyze this, have a look at what's going on in this latest update. You're watching Hutch's Weather.
Now, a Hutch's Weather Update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons.
All right, thanks for joining us. Thanks to my fine sponsors. Let's take a look at this storm system. It's a very isolated small storm, but it's heading right into the Brainerd area at this particular time. Baxter also up towards the area near Nisswa. Here's a look at the movement of the storm. Here's a look at what the National Weather Service warning entails. It's a radar-indicated tornado. It's moving northwest at 43 miles per hour. We could see some hail from this cell as it moves through the Brainerd Lakes area at this particular time. So taking a look at the velocity with the storm, where is the spin, where is the danger? You can see it's a very small storm, a tornado being a smaller part of that small storm, and it's going to impact a pretty small area, but a populated one at that. Let's get into the look at the storm relative velocity, and here we can see some greens next to the reds out there as we look into the Brainerd Lakes area at 2:22 this afternoon. So taking you a little bit closer, we certainly can see from the area radar that we have some greens next to the reds moving right up into the Brainerd area. If you are in Brainerd, if you are in Nisswa, Baxter, storm is making its way right into the area here as we go into town. Now you're looking at the intersections of 371 there and 18. Also right, just basically right in the main part of town here is where this rotation is moving in. So you should be seeking shelter in an interior room. Stay away from those windows. You want to be in a sturdy structure. So if you have time, exit things like mobile homes and manufactured homes. Don't try to run across town and outrun this thing. It's right over the top of town right now and is making its way in. So again, with the movement of this particular storm to the north and to the east at 43 miles per hour, we can tell you some areas that'll be in the path of the storm to the north and east. That's East Gull Lake as well as the lake shore within the next few moments here. As a matter of fact, Baxter as well. Notice this Motley and Staples storm, that one too. Tight rotation on the south side of those storms as well. And I want to tell you right now, if you're in Staples, well, this is where my folks lived for many, many years. And this one's on the north side of 210 right here. As you take a look at Highway 10 and 210, there's Motley. And just north of Staples here, we have some pretty tight rotation from that cell. Just into Motley now, another area with some rotation as well. This storm, again, making its way through. Look at this. Elbow Lake now, tornado warning in Fergus Falls. Let's get right to it. Please tag a friend, and we're going to poke something out here so people can see. But tornado warning, I'll read this to you. It's a radar-indicated tornado moving north. It's moving north at 41 miles per hour. It's near the Elbow Lake, Fergus Falls, and Foxholm areas. Those are all going to be impacted by this particular storm. And please tag a friend in this update. Again, this is an important update. A tornado warning for Fergus Falls, a tornado warning for Brainerd Lakes area, a tornado warning in and around Elbow Lake. Alexandria, looks like we have some rotating storms near you. Let me switch the radar to one a little bit closer to the Fergus Falls area from the one out to the east. Here we go. Now, as this data populates, you can see where this little triangle is. That is the center of the storm. Tight rotation being picked up there. As we go ahead and take a look at the warning, again, radar indicated, moving to the north and northeast, north and northwest, I should say, at 40 miles per hour. So this particular system making its way to the north and northwest will be near Elbow Lake now at 226, 228 Wendell, Foxholm by 249. And if you happen to be in Fergus Falls, it could be in your neck of the woods by 252. Very small thunderstorms forming here. They're not gigantic, but they are in an environment that's spinny. Fairmount, Ashley, thank you for your question. Again, Brainerd, tornado warning. Fergus Falls, Elbow Lake, tornado warning. We're talking about the Wendell area here. Tinta is just on the eastern, western fringes of this particular storm system as it's pushing to the northeast. So I want to remind you, seeking shelter in that important room is important. We talked about this the last couple of days, but start thinking about where you could go as these storms are lifting northward and heading into your general direction in Fergus Falls. Don't wait. Seek shelter in an interior room of a sturdy structure. Let's think about this now for 1 second. We have a radar that is out here in the Sisseton area out near Aberdeen. Now, the radar beam is there. We're looking for reds and greens next to each other, and there's several areas where we're seeing that. So it looks like this rotation is located in and near Elbow Lake as a couplet right here. There's another cell not far from Wendell. So this whole little long line of storms here is prompting this particular tornado warning. Here is a look at the radar that we are normally used to seeing, and this is what these storms are looking like at this particular time. Now, this is a composite of the entire region, so there is individual thunderstorm cells, numerous ones that are encompassing this warned area. So there is definitely some spin in these storms that are taking place right now. Grant County, Elbow Lake, the storms are over you, moving towards Dalton, where we have had a history of some terrible storms and tornadoes along this crossing of the I-94 corridor right there. Hoffman, there's some storms near you as well. If you're in this area, you should be seeking your tornado precautions now. Get out of things like mobile homes, RVs, manufactured homes, and get into something more sturdy as this storm works its way to the north. Wendell, you're right in the path of this particular storm. And again, a look at the velocity in the storms. Again, it's these storms, the individual thunderstorm cells are very small and they're a little bit difficult to see. Simon, good to have you on board. Thank you for watching. Tornado warnings in Fergus Falls, Otter Tail County, Grant County. It extends all the way off into the Wilkin County area here near Foxholm. So yes, Foxholm, this warning is for you. If we take a look, there's another little cell that's right here near the Wendell area. That'll be moving in your general direction as well. So the rotation and the rotating line of storms will be pushing in your general direction as it crosses over that Highway 200 corridor, eventually working its way towards Foxholm. So I'll keep you posted on that. Brainerd Lakes area seeing a smattering of tornado and funnel cloud reports around Benson. Look at Minneapolis right now as we zoom into the Twin Cities. Let's go right to that. Tornado warning. This was that same storm that moved through the Elko area and is now making its way through Coon Rapids. As you see on the south side of the storm here, the Doppler radar located in the Twin Cities is picking up some tight rotation moving through the Minneapolis area. Here is a look at that core rotation, and this is the area of concern right here, right over Minneapolis right now, making its way north through the Twin Cities. Hello from Walcott, Terry. Good to have you on board. Henning, Minnesota. Charlie, good to have you on board as well. If you are watching on the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button and let me know where you're watching from and if you do have a question. But numerous tornado warnings right now taking place. Fergus Falls, Otter Tail County. Hutch was telling you the last couple of days, I thought the risk in the environment in our area was conducive for making tornadoes. We do have an active tornado warning. Let's go ahead and take a look at the close radar here, and we'll get you back to what's going on in our neck of the woods. Aberdeen seems to be like the closest radar to this particular storm. So we'll load up that information. Okay, so we do have that, it's kind of muddled right now. Let me double check what I'm looking at. This is straight velocity. Let me go back up and take the storm motion out of it. These storms are clicking up to the north at a clip of about 40 miles per hour, north-northwest. Many different little areas of greens and reds next to each other. Not all of them are tornadoes on the ground, but some spin in numerous places along this boundary, heading right in the general direction of northern Grant County right now. Heading right towards Ashby and Dalton. We do have some couplets that are showing up here. This isn't the most textbook quality type of radar couplets that we're looking at here. Tornado warning, Northwood. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and take a look at the big picture. That's on the other side of the river. Let's see. I don't see that warning just yet, so we'll kind of keep an eye. If I do look up at the Northwood area, though, and I get to the Mayville radar, we should have a good look at what's going on there. No, Emmett, there's no tornado warning at this particular point in the Northwood area, nor does it look like there's a storm that's producing any spin in it in that particular area. So thank you for your input, but I'll try to get you the information as fast as I can, and I want it to be accurate. What we're looking at here, greens, winds towards the radar site, Mayville, reds away. So it's all unidirectional flow. Way out here near Tulna, there's some spin in the storm. Those are some low top thunderstorms out there. So the main storms that are making their way through our neck of the woods, Brainerd Lakes area right now, as we take a look, I'm going to have to get to another radar. Let's go to Duluth. Pull that in. I do want to let you know that Brainerd and now moving in towards Nisswa is where this storm is and where the rotation is. You can see it right here. East Gull Lake to Nisswa. There is a very tight rotation moving out of the Brainerd Lakes area. If you are in the path of this storm on the lake, Get out of mobile homes, RVs, manufactured homes, and seek shelter in something more sturdy. That tornado warning expires at 3 o'clock, and it's moving pretty quickly. It's moving at 43 miles per hour to the northwest, right towards Nisswa now. Again, Brainerd Lakes area, tornado warning. Again, back to Fergus Falls we go. I'm going to switch the radar view to another radar so I can get the data in that is going to help us the most. I'll take a look at the Mayville radar data. It'll give us a little different perspective on the same storm. Maybe we can see a little more clearly. And waiting for the scan to come in. Okay, so what we have here is motion toward the radar here, away from the radar near Campbell. There is evidence of a rotation that's this way, and it's moving towards Foxholm right now. So there's one pretty clear evidence of some shear that's making its way in the general direction of the radar beam. Again, green is motion toward the radar, red is away. So Foxholm to Fergus Falls, if you're in these areas, you should be seeking shelter right now. Ashby, we have some storms making their way into your area. I'm going to switch radars again over to the Aberdeen one, see if it confirms the location of the spin. Indeed, it does. Boy, it's moving fast to the north. So here is the area where the original storm was prompted, but I'm seeing more shear and spin on the Doran area all the way towards Foxholm. There is some spin there. There's another cluster of spin moving into and south of Fergus Falls. So you want to make sure that you are in those safety areas of yours. Again, the basement is the safest place because you're below the level of the flying debris. Even a smaller tornado can pick up something like this. This is Hutch's pen, and it can hurl it through the air at 100 miles per hour. And after tornadoes, we sometimes find things like pens or straw stuck straight into walls. Don't let you be the wall. Get down below the ground level or get as low as you can. Get out of the way of the flying debris. Best place, interior room, away from windows. Laura, thank you very much. Tornado warning, Wilkin County. Yes, indeed it is. It's not far from Wahpeton, Breckenridge. Sirens may even be sounding in and around Breckenridge as there is some rotation being picked up by this radar. This radar here that we're looking at right now is coming at us from Aberdeen though. So I want to be careful to point out we're seeing greens and reds next to each other. This does not always mean tight rotation. This is showing me more of a rolling. The wind here in the red near Doran is moving away. The wind here in green is moving towards. So this is rolling because this is farther away from the radar. And therefore, the wind is at a higher elevation. And therefore, we're getting wind that's in layers doing this. That's exactly what can cause a tornado to form in a thunderstorm updraft. So we are watching this area extremely close. I'd say anywhere now along this Highway 200 corridor here, the Foxholm area all the way out towards Wahpeton, the Doran area is under the risk of a tornado in that particular area. And again, we have other areas of shear and spin showing up along this boundary here out towards Ashby, heading in the general direction of Fergus Falls. Let's go out to our regional view here so we can get a better view of the area. And what we're seeing is the tornado warning does continue for the Brainerd Lakes area out there. It's a lot smaller than it was, but it's still there. Huge warning area here for this long line of storms working in 210. Thank you, Nathan. My brain was stuck on 200. That's way the heck up here. 210 is the one that goes right through Staples and all the way out there through Fergus and on in towards your area. So thank you for your help. Anything near Walcott? Well, I do got to tell you that there's some storms and some greens and reds next to each other there as we take a look at the normal radar data here. Let's go ahead and look at that. Minneapolis, St. Paul continues with a tornado warning too. Let me slide this over so we can see all the active tornado warnings. The North Metro area, north of Minneapolis, seeing a tornado warning. Fergus Falls, this does include Grant County, at least the northern reaches of Otter Tail County and Wilkin County, all in a tornado warning, not the entirety of the counties, but this polygon area. This little sliver of a warning remains for the Brainerd Lakes area one. That storm's moving into Nisswa right now, and you should be seeking your tornado precaution and shelter in a low-lying area of a sturdy structure that is attached securely to the foundation. So that's what's going on right now. I was going to show you that normal radar view. This is a look at the regional picture here. And as we take a look, a long line of storms that's moved through the metro area right now and is moving to the north and east. This is our main event. This is our main event here. The darker thunderstorms are starting to get a little bit more energy to them. These will likely cut off some of the energy from these storms up here, but they're still going to bring some heavy rain, which is now sneaking north of the border. Fargo did get some rain. We have a thunderstorm just down to the south of us. Remember, this is the main line of activity we're looking here. Forecast models did a fairly good job, and I gotta say, the forecast that I've been talking about having that tornado risk in our area was pretty spot on. Thanks for the coverage, Hutch. Avery, thank you for tuning in from Phoenix, Arizona. I appreciate it very much. Ashley, thank you. Fergus Falls here. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we can see from the cameras across Minnesota. And we do have some heavier rain now moving into Hillsboro. Big time rain in Mayville right now, right over the radar site, and Thompson and Northwood. So I can understand why you're concerned in the Northwood area and brought up that there might be a tornado warning. These are very windy thunderstorms, right? A lot of lightning showing up with this, pushing into southern Grand Forks County, right out of Steele County, Trail County, and all the way in towards the Polk County area on the southwest side, as well as Norman County. So from Halstead to Ada, Borup, and now moving into the Fertile area, and, well, Boston. Hey, a good night for some thunderstorms. Just up in the Fertile area here in the last week or so, talking to some kids about the weather. And I got to tell you what, it's time. We talked about thunderstorm safety. We have thunderstorms moving in. Stay in, stay away from those windows. There could be some lightning and thunder. The risk for tornadoes is not zero, but the main event right down here. Look at this, a huge area in blue. What is that? That is a statement from the National Weather Service Forecast Office in the Twin Cities saying, this long line of storms is something that we should be watching here very closely, and that is something that we're watching very closely. And it has a history of producing some tornadoes as they move through. So Fergus Falls, seek shelter. Let's go right now to a look around the region and see what we can see on the DOT cameras in Minnesota. Again, sometimes you might feel like this might be a waste of time. It is not. It does sometimes help to see the clouds, the lower clouds, the cloud structure. Let's start in the Elbow Lake area here. If I can find a camera close, here is one on I-94, not far from Fergus Falls. I'm seeing grass. I'm seeing dark skies. I'm not seeing anything there that's of concern. And many people traveling right into the teeth of this storm as it's moving up towards Fergus Falls right now and Foxhome right now. So right now I'm seeing some darkening skies in and around that corridor. You're looking at the Fergus Falls area on I-94. Now, if we back this up just a little bit, there are some Evansville area storms that are making their way up in the general direction. Let me see. Let's go down here. Okay, there's mainly just rain as we go down to the east, not far from the Dalton area with that particular storm, but at least we had a view of it. Here, let's see. I got a view of raindrops, darkening skies. There is the edge of a flat-based thunderstorm cloud there off in the distance or whatnot, and a lot of semis there parked at the rest stop. So that's what we're seeing with those particular storms. Grand Forks and the Grand Forks area, southern Grand Forks County. Let's go to Halstead out there, and it looks like we've got some wet roads and wet ground, and it needed it. Boy, that wind was really blowing up the topsoil out there. Here's the Twin Cities, the storm with the tornado warning in it, now moving its way through the North Metro. Let's go right up here to First Avenue, and it looks like this is on the highway. Look at the gully washer going on in the Twin Cities right now. These folks are driving in the middle of a tornado warned storm. Okay, so sometimes you just don't know that there's a tornado warning moving through your area. If we go all the way up north towards Coon Rapids, this is on the north side of the storm cell and on the north side of the tornado warned storm. Again, a lot of folks in and around the metro area in the Twin Cities driving through some pretty terrible conditions right in the middle of town, and maybe driving into something that they don't know much about or hadn't heard about. So make sure you're staying weather aware tonight. Brainerd Lakes area, let's get up in the general direction of Nisswa. Let's see, the tornado warning for that area may have been, nope, there it is. Okay, so get down in the right area here. Let's go up to this northernmost fringe and see if we can see anything north of the lakes. We got some mean looking clouds up here. There's no question about that in the Nisswa area. That concrete's still a little on the dry side. So basically we're not able to see too much with all the trees that are in the beautiful lakes country there of Nisswa. Let's go down just a little bit farther south. And this is showing the 371 corridor as you go down from Nisswa down in toward the Brainerd area and Baxter. And what you're going to see, well, there's the same look at those low-hanging clouds out there with that storm system as it makes its way up to the north. So if you have a report of anything that you've seen out in these areas, thank you very much for your support of STARS, by the way. Jeanette Nelson, thank you so very, very much. It's much appreciated. And all of your support is going to help to expand Hutch's weather. Exciting announcements coming soon. And if I may, in the middle of storm coverage and the area of Fergus Falls under the gun with a tornado warning on, I do want to get back to the radar here and let you know that if you are in Fergus Falls, this line of storms is just a little bit far to your south. The stuff that's near Elbow Lake now moving up to the north and east at about 43 miles per hour. Let's measure how far away it is from you. So the leading edge of the red, okay, is going to be making its way up towards Fergus Falls here from this direction. And if we go to Fergus Falls City Center there, it's about 13.5 miles away from you, moving at 40 miles per hour. So you could tell that I'm a little over 40 miles per hour. You're about 10 to 15 minutes away on the south side of Fergus Falls from seeing this move in. So let's go with 251. 251 Fergus Falls. Be ready for that storm line to make its way in. Single site radar data, although not as impressive as what you just saw, is a little bit more updated than what you just saw. And that's why I like using it. It's more pixelated. Hutch don't care. I learn more from this than I do from seeing a big red blob. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Now, the line path there, 13 miles, this is showing it's right in Fergus on the south side already. So if I remeasure this with a more up-to-date radar display, the heavier rains in the oranges and reds is only 5 miles south of town. See, it's good to look at the pixelated stuff. It's more up-to-date. So this is 4 miles away. You're looking at about, well, at 40 miles per hour, you're looking at about 8 minutes at most. So this is going to be by you by about that 2:45 to 2:50 time frame on the south side of town. Now, what about the rotation in this particular system? Let's take a look at that. So if I go back up and I'm looking at storm relative velocity, we're going to subtract out the motion of the storm, which is this way. And now we're looking at, what radar do I have on here? Let me just back up. Aberdeen is a good one to have on. So I need to know what direction the radar is so I know whether the green is blowing towards Aberdeen or Mayville. It's really important as a meteorologist. You got to look at where the radar is situated. So here we got motion towards the radar, motion away from the radar. This on the south side of the cell is where we have the rotation that I'm worried about. This motion away from the radar, not so much. Okay, so that could be outflow from the thunderstorm and the rain that's heading your way. The winds from this storm are going to blow out of the southeast as it's moving in your general direction. And then the rotating part of the storm down here. Foxholm, same thing goes. Storm blowing wind towards the radar there and away from the radar here. There is a weak area of rotation moving right into Foxholm now. So please keep your tornado precautions in mind. Dalton, I want to point this out. Do you see the brighter reds here and the brighter greens just off to the east of you? That is a little bit stronger rotation. The bright greens and the bright reds are not right immediately next to each other, but it does show that this storm cell here does have some potential to get its thing act in gear and put down a tornado. So this whole line, this whole area from Ashby and Dalton through Fergus Falls, Foxholm, all under the gun for some pretty stout rotation. Look at this little guy up here, that little wiggle. That's a little wiggle too, with some bright greens, and that could amount to something as well. We can go up through different levels of the atmosphere, but let's go ahead and turn on some of the cellular data from the National Weather Service radar. It's tracking individual thunderstorm cells along this line. It's populating this information for me now. There is some small hail potential from this green one you see here between Dalton and Battle Lake here. Michelle, thank you for your input. It's getting dark. So if you're between Dalton and the Battle Lake area, that line of storms is pushing up towards Parker's Prairie. So yes, indeed, there's some dark skies heading out there. Let's see. I got another piece of feedback here. And again, I appreciate you guys sharing and tagging your friends on this. It's important to get the information out. Storm moving into Fergus Falls, heading from Grand Forks to Fargo. Heavy rain. Branches and leaves from the blowing across I-29 had to pull over. Possible hail in it as well. Definitely a whiteout, says Julie. Thank you for pulling over and being safe. Slow it down out there, interstate travelers, because it can be hard to see very quickly. You can go from what's clear to what's not clear. going through. The Fergus Falls area, we definitely have some stormy weather making its way in. I'm going to do something here that I want to point out to you on hutchesweather.com. Hutchesweather.com, let me pull it up for you, is a great place for tracking the radar. And you can not only do that, but by letting me have your information about where you're located, it will give you the warnings and watches. So again, hutchesweather.com is a good place for you to get the weather information. And on hutchesweather.com, you can sign up for email alerts. I'm going to send one of those out here right now. So if you're signed up on hutchesweather.com, you should be able to get a email alert here from Hutch if I can get my act together. It's hard to think and do 7 things at once. Storm coverage moving into the area in and around the Fergus Falls area, all the way through Dalton and all the way out to the east and west near Foxhome as well. So let's get to it. Let's go here. Whoopsies. Thank you for bearing with me while I get this information out. So I'd like to duplicate this. All right, here we go. Tornado warning coverage. There we go. I'd like to get the word out, and I appreciate you doing the same. So thank you very much. Let me see here if I can delete this. All right, I'm having some troubles. Maybe I'll send the email out here a little bit later, but for now, that is one of the things that you can do. Fergus Falls, tornado warning. Rotating storms moving in your general direction right now. We do have a little bit of hail moving into Ashby, heading towards Dalton. The hail size estimates here are not huge. We're talking about the movement of 41 miles per hour of the storm to the north-northwest. Hail probability of severe size hail, 1 inch or greater, is 0. But there is hail possible, but it should be less than a ½ inch in size. So there is some ½ inch diameter hail, maybe a little smaller. There's another cell moving in the general direction of Battle Lake. You see this little white line here. That one's moving north at 56 miles per hour, and the hail probability is 90%, ½ inch diameter hail. It does look like that we do have right now in Fergus Falls on the south side of town that couplet of velocity making its way over the town right now. So please be in your tornado safe area. Don't be looking out the window of your house to see what's blowing and going on. That particular rotating part of the storm is moving right into Fergus Falls right now, and it's on the south side of town as you're going on that interstate loop down there, I-94 exit, and you're going in on the south side here. So maybe up by the old, is this up by the old hockey arena and the fairgrounds down there on that side of town, I believe, is where that's making its way in. So that's where the rotating part of the storm is. It's going to move right over town. Be in your safe spot, in your tornado safe spot. If you're in school or otherwise, it's a good idea to make sure you're in an interior room. Put as many walls between you and the storm as possible. That way the debris is going to be slowed down by more things, more walls, and that can offer more protection. Again, lowest floor, an interior room, walls, walls, walls. Put as many walls between you and that storm outside as possible of a sturdy structure, one that's anchored to the foundation. Get down low, cover your head, maybe under a desk, maybe under a table, maybe under a door, and just wait it out. When the storm's gone, we'll let you know. It's rapidly moving to the northern part of this tornado warned area at this particular time. Some good news along with this particular storm. I'm still seeing that we do not have any reports of tornadoes from this line of storms. This is radar indicated rotation, but the storm clouds above you are spinning and could produce a tornado at any time. That is why a warning is issued, not because we want to warn for every storm. Wadena County, Staples. I was talking about Staples seconds ago. That storm now warned for a tornado moving up towards Nimrod now. There's the rotation. You can see green and red next to each other over Nimrod moving towards Monaga. There's another area of rotation. This is toward the radar. That's away. That would be clockwise rotation, or that would be called anticyclonic. That's not always possible, but it's not impossible for storms or tornadoes to have this backward spin. So a couple of areas of rotation showing up there as we work our way through in the northern reaches of Todd County, moving into Wadena County. Let me go to this Mayville radar here. That'll have a better chance at seeing this particular storm as this populates. This is a storm that's moving off to the north and to the east. It's moving at a clip of about I think 40, yeah, 38 miles per hour. Size of the hail, 3/4 inch. Nimrod and Olin are in the path of that particular storm. So looks a little different here. Oh, wow, there you go. There's the red and there's the green, and it's a pretty clear indication here of some pretty tight rotation. Some hail possible, about 1/2 inch diameter. Hail's not the main threat here. Rotation is the main threat, and it's just a couple of miles off to the south and east of you folks in Nimrod, and it's moving in your general direction. See how this cone here is leaning in your direction. Nimrod, you should be seeking shelter in an interior room away from windows of a sturdy structure. Thank you for your input. Let's see who else we got heading from Grand Forks. Rain with small hail. Coon Rapids. Thanks, Carol, for your report there. A big time notice has been just issued for Long Prairie, Alexandria, and Sauk Center for a line of storms moving through your neck of the woods. From Coon Rapids here, we've got a huge area of thunderstorm warnings for this solid line of storms that's working its way through. I'm going to turn the radar on now so you can see. It's going to be the big red blobby type stuff. I don't like using this, but we're going to use it just to show you across all radars what we're seeing. Essentially a line of strong storms right now located in Blaine, heading in the general direction of Cambridge. Elk River, you got storms there. Moving out of Minneapolis proper and heading towards places like St. Paul, and just exiting St. Paul toward White Bear Lake, Stillwater, Hudson. These storms are blowing towards you. Looking at the National Weather Service warnings, we're talking about hail, and look at the tornado possible thing. It is a solid line of a bunch of thunderstorms making its way through the metro area here. And each of these individual thunderstorm cells is in an environment with some rotating updrafts. So now Hutch switches radars to the single site radar. We'll let the data populate here, and we'll look for any storms that have some spin. I was able to detect one south of town that became tornado warned. Here is a hook echo. There is a hook echo here by River Falls right here. See that little finger dangly, that thing there? There's another dangly spinny thing there. These are all hook echoes because these storms are firing up in an environment. This one probably has a stronger updraft because of the hail potential there. So right now I'm going to examine this and we're going to look at the velocity. And now again, the radar is on the east fringe of the Twin Cities area. Let's take a look at this relative velocity and see what we got south of River Falls. Now, yeah, we do have motion toward the radar here and motion away from the radar right here. So I'm going to put my finger right here. Okay, watch my finger. Let me get in the right spot. There it is. We're going to put my finger right here, and now we're going to switch right back over to the radar data. If this is in the same spot, as a hook echo, we've got some confirmation of some rotation right there. Yeah, it's very close. So that rotation right there, that could be... It's a tornado warning. So that is a tornado warning being issued by the National Weather Service in the Twin Cities. River Falls, you are in the path of this particular tornado. It's moving to the northeast. It's moving at about 41 miles per hour or so, and that's been the speed of most of these. This one, nope, says 26. My apologies. Sometimes these radar calculations can be a little off. This line of storms has been progressing at about 35 to 40 miles per hour, though. Let's keep that in mind. As we draw a line, I'm going to manually track this puppy. Here's the rotating part of this storm. We're only going to track the spinny part right here, okay? And we're going to track the spinny part of the storm right here at this current location, and we're going to move it to the north and east, and we're going to move it not at 40 miles per hour. I'm going to put it at about 35 miles per hour in this general direction. It will be in these general vicinities moving towards River Falls as we go through the upcoming periods of time. It will be in River Falls by 3:39. You still have about a half hour to get to your safe spot there in River Falls. You're going to get hit with rain, possibly a hail core here before the rotating part of the storm comes in. So that is a dangerous situation. And now you see why Hutch does bring a little bit to the table with some experience in covering these kind of things. You're watching for all of the signs on these radars, and you're looking for greens and reds and all these colors. I'm trying to analyze things in real time right here for you. Let's go ahead and clear that storm track. And now let's take a look at in the Twin Cities, another tornado warning down here for this near Millville. This storm here near Millville and out just north of the Elgin area has also prompted the National Weather Service to issue a storm warning for a tornado. This particular storm, ooh, it's very clear to see. The radar's up in the Twin Cities. Motion toward the radar, motion away. Very tight spin moving into Lake City. You see where this triangle is, that's the area of concern. Pushing into Lake City, Pepin, these areas you'll need to be seeking your tornado precautions right now, or rural areas in between Zumbro Falls and Lake City right now. Very tight rotation showing up there at this particular time. Let's see if I can see any evidence. This radar is pretty close. Do I see any evidence of debris? There's some evidence of possible things in the air that don't line up correctly. Like if we loft up chunks of junk in the air along with raindrops, raindrops all look alike to the radar oftentimes, and so do hailstones. They look very similar. But when we get a pen or something like that that's thrown up in the air, it looks a lot different to the radar. So this is area where we have a dissimilarity of some of the products up in the sky, and so that is a lowering of that. Does that mean there's a debris ball there? No, it's not crystal clear, but it's in this same general vicinity of this storm here, moving up from this area near Millville and up towards Lake City right now. So it is a little bit of a lowering. So we'll keep that in mind. Another tool in the toolbox here at Hutchins Weather that I like to keep my eyes on. So as we take a look at the temperature differences across the region right now, we have more energy where there's more heat and low-level moisture. It's 90 degrees down here as we go towards Dubuque. That southeast wind is blowing toward the Twin Cities where we have mid-80s. Rochester and points off to the west, 82 degrees still as we look down here in that general vicinity of Glencoe, and the Twin Cities having some rain thunderstorms move through, cooling things off briefly. That's heading up into Wisconsin. Let's get you updated on our tornado warnings up here in the Fergus Falls area as we continue with severe weather coverage here on Hutch's Weather. Thanks for watching. Let's go back to the storm relative velocity. We're going to look right away for the spin. Okay, all right. We continue with more tornado warnings than we had before. Let's get to Fergus Falls. Tornado warned storm making its way into Fergus Falls right now. I need to get to a closer radar. We'll go Aberdeen. Let's pull that in. Here we go. So these storms now, the rotation in these storms from the radar out here showing that there's still some weak shear just moving up to the north near Elizabeth now. It's starting to exit the area of the tornado warning and moving up north towards Rothsay and the I-94 corridor. So the warning does continue for these areas, including Fergus Falls, and there still is some shear or spin in the area, but a lot of it looks to be moving to the north of the warned area, moving northeast at 41. I'm going to repeat that. I'm sorry. Northwest at 41 miles per hour. The storm is moving through Fergus Falls right now and will be pushing up towards Elizabeth in the near future. We'll keep you posted as to what's going on there. Now let's sneak over a new tornado warning here, Sauk Center and the Freeport area, Melrose. I'm going to probably pull out the radar from the Twin Cities for this on I-94. Yep, pretty clear rotation here, motion away from the radar and toward the radar, moving into Freeport, St. Rosa, as this one's moving north. Let's get the speed of movement towards Gray Eagle. This is an observed tornado on the ground. This storm is making its way toward Gray Eagle and moving north at 46 miles per hour. So we have an observed tornado on the ground. Let's look at that tool and see if we see any debris. In this particular area, there is something blocking the beam and giving us a bunch of noise downwind from that. So let me look at another product here. We do have, let's see, the target differences are pretty high in the area where the wind is moving towards Freeport right now, and also St. Rosa. So yeah, we do have some indications here. As we go back to the storm relative velocity, it is in the exact same areas here as we're seeing that Freeport area. Let's go to the DOT cameras right now. Let's see if we can get a front row seat to what's going on there. If you're in the path of this along I-94, Melrose to Freeport in particular, please seek shelter in an interior room. Stay away from windows. Get to the lowest floor possible of that sturdy structure and get down low. This is an observed tornado, so let's see what kind of cameras that we have available. Not so many on the right part of the storm to take a look. Let's see. I don't think we'll see it all the way from Avon, but let's see what we can see from Sauk Center here. Dark clouds, a lot of heavy rain, and as we take a look, I'm not going to see much sky view here, I don't think. There we go. That might be the best. We got a lot of hills and a lot of trees, as you know, if you've driven through the I-94 corridor there. We're just not going to be able to see too much from that particular view. So if you are in St. Anthony, if you're in New Munich, Melrose really, and on towards St. Rosa, These areas are the area where the rotation is right now. Here's a look at Albany at the big spunk rest area here, and the rest area is looking awful resty. And I'm not seeing anything in the clouds or the sky out here. Oh, there you go. Some lumpy, bumpy clouds on I-94 east of Opportunity Drive out there. So that's an area where we'll continue to keep our eyes on things. Let's zoom back out. Thank you very much. I'm hearing many of you tuning in. Where's it going this afternoon? Let's see if I can answer that. Just drove through I-94 south of Fergus, heavy rain, and that was about it. Down to 40-mile-per-hour traffic, dark clouds coming to Crookston. Thank you, Holly, for your sharing of stars. Holly, thank you for the ETA question for Perham. Let's get back to the radar here and get those questions answered. There are some showers and storms generally moving towards the Perham area. Again, tornado warnings out near the Twin Cities area. We have tornado warnings near Melrose on the I-94 corridor to the east of Sauk Center. I have a tornado warning that was up near the Brainerd Lakes area, now moving through the Nimrod area and still showing signs of rotation here north of Nimrod as it makes its way up into the southern reaches for you folks in Hubbard County. Hubbard County, you do have a little bit of a spin marker there too, just very weak, pixelated one at best. But let's take a look at the radar near Fargo to get a little bit better data on that storm there in that county. So it's moving up into Hubbard County now, northern parts of Wadena County. That is where the tornado warned storm is there. Tornado warning has expired for Fergus Falls. As I showed you, the motion of the storm has carried it out of the warned area. And also, I'm not seeing as much with regards to the storm relative velocity in here. Not as big areas of shear or spin, so that's good. Let's get you on up into the area of Perham, and let's show you how far these storms away are from your area, and we'll answer your question here real quickly. Here is a look at the single site radar data. Perham is right here. The storm that's moving towards you is right over Parker's Prairie. That it doesn't look overly impressive, but look at the tornado warned little pimple up here. These storms are not huge. If they were, I'm afraid we would have some pretty strong tornadoes in our area today because of all the spin in the lower atmosphere. You need that upward motion to really pull and thin out that rotating updraft and really give it a chance to make a tornado. Even with the weaker updrafts we have today, we're seeing some pretty potentially strong storms and a lot of spin out there. Parker's Prairie is where the storm is. Let's go ahead and measure the distance between Parker's Prairie storm, and that's the one that'll be moving in your general direction towards Perham. So to answer your question, it's 28.5 miles away, 29 miles per hour. They're moving at about 43 miles per hour. So we're talking in about, let's go with 40 minutes. So 40 minutes puts you at about, let's go with 3:37. That car is going to pull into Perham, and we'll keep our eyes on the storm there for you. I hope that answers your question. 3:37, Hutch's ETA for Perham. Looks like Penny sharing some stars. Thank you very much for your contribution to Hutch's weather. Your contributions, your suggestions, your ideas all go a long ways towards building Hutch's weather towards my next step, which I'll be excited to announce sometime soon. Let's see. Sounds very loud outside despite the commotion in Fergus Walmart. Okay, so Ariana, yeah, if you're in the store, those big stores with the big roofs can be a little bit scary. Wind, rain, hail, and Dalton right now. Thank you for the report 8 minutes ago. And Fergus Falls out of the woods at 3. Is Fergus Falls out of the wood? Emily, yes, the tornado warning has been allowed to expire. The storm is just north of town. And I do believe that you are now in the clear as you take a look at this, the radar and the storm north of you. What's coming your way down to the south? A whole bunch of nothing right now. I'll keep our eyes on it because what's going to wrap around the backside is going to be non-severe and a chance at a little bit more rain, but I'm afraid we're not going to see a ton of rain, not buckets of rain. So radar indicated tornado warning continues for the next couple of minutes here. This storm is exiting the warned area. The warning was for 3:30. Once this storm exits and into Hubbard County, that warning will likely be allowed to expire. Mille Lacs, I got a little pimple pushing its way out there, moving its way right over the southern area of the big lake out here. So keep that in mind. That's moving towards Garrison and Vinland. And let's take a look at what's going on in the Twin Cities. 1, 2, 3 tornado warnings, River Falls. We diagnosed this one on the air or on my stream here while it was happening when it formed, and then the warning was issued. This storm was a radar indicated tornado. It's still heading in the general direction of River Falls at this particular time. go ahead and take a look at the Doppler radar from Minneapolis here again. There is your spin in the storm. It's right over River Falls right now. So if you're in River Falls, this storm is over you. The rotating part of the storm is right here. You can almost see as it looped, it got gobbled up. So you can see the hook. There's the hook echo right here, working its way north. There's a clearly defined hook echo. This might even be a debris ball right here being picked up by the radar, and now it's working its way north into River Falls. You're getting rain, you're getting hail, and now the rotating part of the storm is moving in. So please, it's not over yet because the hail and that noise is going away. The hail and noise is going away, and the rotating part of the storm is just now making its way over your area. There was a confirmed tornado down here near the Lake City area, I do believe, and that storm is now working its way in general direction of Lake City and Pepin and continues its trek to the north. So again, if you are in the path of this particular storm, that tornado warning does continue until 3:30 this afternoon. And that is it for the tornado warnings down in and around the Twin Cities area. We got ourselves a report here. Here is a look at the tornado warned storm, and this warning was derived from a tornado that a train spotter spotted debris out of in and around the Spring Hill area. That happened at 2:47, so not that long ago. Now that storm is north of the interstate. There's Albany, there's Freeport. That's where that rotating part of the storm is heading right now. So that tornado warning looks like has been expired. Oh, no, it hasn't. It's going back and looping. So that's what's going on. So let me stop the looping and get to the active scene right now. Tornado warning for Fergus Falls is done and over with. That storm and that line of storms moving north, moving toward the Big Lake right now. The Melrose storm is now moving in the general direction of St. Rosa and Gray Eagle. There is still rotation in this storm. I can point that out for you right now so you have an idea of where that latest rotation is. Time for some water. Freeport. Okay, so here is your rotation right here. It's over Freeport moving north. This is moving all to the north near St. Rosa. Freeport to St. Rosa, you should be in your safe spot right now. There's a little evidence of a couplet maybe embedded in this system right here that's pushing towards Gray Eagle as well. That is a storm that has a history of producing a tornado that touched the ground and is on its way down. Now, some of the most energetic, we got a tornado warning now oh yeah, that's the one moving through Hubbard or toward Hubbard County and in northern reaches of Wadena County. That storm is exiting the warned area shortly. And here is a new warning. I swallowed my water wrong. My apologies. This is the strongest couplet that I've seen all day. Very strong flow away from the radar in the Twin Cities. Very strong flow towards. This is the strongest couplet we've seen today. It is high above the ground. It doesn't mean that there's a tornado on the ground right now, but let's see what the Weather Service is basing this off of. It is a radar indicated couplet. This is more textbook here. Motion away, motion towards the Twin Cities. There is the spin in the cloud. That's it right there. Is it making contact with the ground? We're not sure, but if you're near Onemia, the Vineland area, this storm is moving north and it's moving toward the Big Lake. So if you have lake property, if you are in a cabin, a camper, there is a tornado creating storm that is heading into the Mille Lacs area. Yeah, that's Mille Lacs. That's a big lake out there. This tornado warned storm is right by 169, just north of Onemia, if I'm pronunciating that correctly. Here's the rotating part of the storm moving north. That's moving north at 53 miles per hour, according to the National Weather Service Doppler radar. This is a radar indicated tornado. Oh, there you could see the data showing that the lake is right there. So now let's take a look at the track of this particular storm. Here's the rotating part of it, the leading edge of it, moving off to the north at a ridiculous clip of, I'm going to have to zoom out. I'm going to clear this. I'm going to zoom out. I can't be this close to it. There we go. Let's try that. To get 53 miles per hour to work on this thing, I really got to extend the view. Okay. So there's 50 miles per hour. Obviously, Pedro is a little excited about something here. Here we go. Rotating part of the storm is right here. It's moving north towards Mille Lacs right now. It will be in the Aitken area by 3:42, so 42 minutes. It's going to move over the shores, though, of Mille Lacs Lake here as we go through the next few period of minutes. So that is what's going on right here, right now. And now, as we take a look, as we do have that tornado warning that's briefly continuing, I do still see some evidence of a little bit of shear as this storm moves towards the Park Rapids area. So that's what's going on right there. And let's see here. I've got all kinds of alerts going off here. So let's go ahead and take a look at that storm in and around the Park Rapids area from a closer radar in Mayville and see if that is still rotating as it pushes into southern Hubbard County. Not as organized, not as organized. The warning does continue until 3:30, but by that time, this storm will be out of the warned area. It's almost cleared at this particular time. I am seeing some evidence of some shear and storms that are moving up towards places like Henning and Deer Creek, so we'll continue to monitor those. This is an awful sloppy looking radar display right now. A number of tornado warnings from north of Verndale all the way out towards Mille Lacs right here. We have this I-94 storm that's worked its way through Melrose. We have some storms that are getting ready to work their way into Wisconsin, heading towards Eau Claire right now. Numerous tornado warnings taking place across the region. Here is a look at the big picture as we wrap up this particular update, and I will keep you posted as we go through the afternoon. This line of storms is moving northward. Now, some of these individual cells are moving to the northeast. Grand Forks, we have storms moving into you right now. Devil's Lake, same thing goes. These are non-severe on this west side here. This is cold air moving down. And in the cold air, we don't have quite the amount of energy in the atmosphere to lift. Look at the blue colors making their way in. Temperatures there in the 40s. Temperatures at 81 degrees in Hallock right now. Look at Waskish, 84 sizzling degrees there. So even as these storms lift northward, there is some energy in a few of these areas for hot air to rise through some cooler air as well. A lot of comments here, a lot of questions going on. Wow, this cover, Becky, thank you. I really appreciate those kind words. The coverage is very impressive. I am just sharing what I know and what storms look nasty to me and passing along information from the pros at the National Weather Service who do an incredible job day and night of keeping us ahead of the storms. And I just tried to do my part. Jason, thank you for the stars. I appreciate it. Thunder and Windy and Bemidji, thank you so very much. Anything heading towards Fargo. The rain has pushed north of us. South of us, we're going to get a break now. So we got a little shot of rain, not enough for Hutch. I wanted a lot more than that. There are some dark clouds over us right now. But I want to show you this. The temperature change in our area is just absolutely astonishing as we've gone through the last 24 hours. So there's a, where'd I put it? I know I got them here somewhere. Okay, pardon me. The temperature change is unbelievable. Look at what's gone on. We've gone from the 90s. See this big pool of blue out here? What does that mean? That's a real big cool down that's taken place over the last 24 hours. We are 30 degrees cooler in many places in this pocket of cool than we were yesterday at this time. And that's just going to continue. Hey, we have 81 degrees. It's still summer like there. It's still summer like out here. But it's this cold air, very simple terms, this cold air mingling with the warm air where the active weather takes place along that boundary. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Brittany, thank you so much. Goodman, Monoman, and White Earth. Yeah, there are some storms heading up in your general direction. I'll get to the radar again. In fact, I'll turn that on now while I'm blabbing my lips. Just so you can see what's going on. We'll also put on the watch boxes. This is going to be the big blob radar here that shows everything from Montana to Estevan to Brandon, Manitoba to Minneapolis and beyond. Chance of some violent tornadoes in Wisconsin today. What's taking off here is happening in the heat of the day. I'll bet you if we looked at these hail reports, they're sizable hail too, not just little wimpy hail reports, but sizable hail. If you're in Grand Forks, the Highway 2 corridor here, stout thunderstorms are heading your way. They have maintained a threshold below severe. This kind of line here is the main event, but we are seeing a few of these storms become severe up north. So I can't rule out that we won't have an isolated storm become severe up and around Grand Forks County, Polk County, and points north. There is some pink showing up in this cell right here, just off to the east of Climax. That's got to be heading in that general direction of Crookston right now. Fertile, you're getting some fertile Beltrami showers there. Along that County Highway 1, Fisher and Thompson. Big time rain going on in Thompson. But when we look at the velocity in the display here from the radar site, we're not seeing a whole lot of shear or spin. Generally, what we're seeing is motion toward the radar here and away from the radar here. What's that mean? That's a diverging area. And that means we could see some added lift to those storms and energy to them, but not necessarily spin when you see green and red next to each other in that fashion. So just so you know, that's what's going on there. So the risk for tornadoes is a lot lower up north. And now when we take a look at the tornado watch, let me see if I can pop that puppy up here. I think I can somewhere along the line, but let's go ahead and take a look. I know that I have this right here where it is. There it is. My apologies. Sometimes my eyes need fixing. Tornado watch area right here. Fergus Falls. This is in effect until 8 o'clock. Here's the main event line right here. Also, although we do have a few right here. So this line will continue to lift to the north and to the east as we go through the evening. The risk of tornadoes up here is a lot lower. The winds in the lower atmosphere don't quite have the same amount of spin or shear in the lower atmosphere, but we do have it all the way over here, and there are a number of tornado watches and warnings across the area. And now a new tornado watch for you folks in parts of Wausau, Wisconsin, to Madison, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Sheboygan, all the way up to Green Bay, Wisconsin out there, and Rockford, Illinois as well, as we look through. So this is where things are happening right now. These storms will continue to press north. If you're looking at the main radar display, Fargo's going to see another round of showers and storms. And in fact, if you're in Osgood, if you are in Kindred, if you are in West Fargo right now, another gully washer out towards Mapleton, giving you a nice soaker of a shower. Is there spin in this particular storm? Let Hutch take a quick look and see what's moving into Fargo. There's the individual thunderstorm cells, and here's the velocity, straight velocity. And it's all unidirectional toward the radar. That's a good sign. All of this wind is blowing towards the radar. So we got some windy thunderstorms. The risk for tornadoes out of these storms right here in Fargo, very, very low. As we take a look at Park Rapids, this warning does continue until 3:30, but the storm is exiting the warned area. As far as velocity goes, let me get the storm motion correction going on here and see if we still see some pockets of spin. And indeed, up here, right along the county line at Hubbard County with Wadena County, this spin is moving towards Park Rapids right now. So if you're in Park Rapids, that rotating storm is generally moving in your direction. It's crossing Highway 87 now. So maybe not a bad idea to seek your storm shelter, a storm that has a history of rotation, working its way out of Wadena County and pushing into the far southern reaches of Hubbard County. Lakes country. If you're at the lake, make sure you know where a sturdy structure is in that area. This whole line here is part of the main event. And you're seeing green, which is motion towards Mayville here, and reds on this end, motion away. So there is still some shear in those particular storms, but it's a little bit backwards of what you would expect. There have been, so what you would expect would be the reds blowing away from the radar, and the greens too. That would be a clockwise circulation there. So we're looking more on this side of the storm now for the area where we may be seeing some spin from those particular storms. Again, long line of storms out there working its way right across and north of the I-94 corridor, north of Albany. Here's a look at the big lake. Now you can clearly see it down there, Onamia, and that storm making its way out towards Crosby. The tornado warning is over the lake right now. So you can see how much of the lake is encompassed by the tornado warning. Now, when I switch radar sites here, you're going to get a chance to see a little bit more closely where the storm with the rotation is, and it's very clear. This was the strongest couplet that I had seen all day. That's moving right over Mille Lacs right now. So is there a water spout? Are there some fishes going to fly onto the beach over here on the North Shore? Those are questions only you can answer after the storm is free and clear of your area. So let's take a look at what's going on. From the Duluth radar for that same storm, is it showing me spin in that one as well, moving over Mille Lacs Lake? Let's wait for it to come in. Yep, same spot. Okay, and it's right there. There's some spin right over the lake right now, right over the middle of the water out there. So if you're on the north shore of that lake, you want to be seeking shelter in a sturdy structure as that tornadic storm works its way towards you. I mentioned the hail potential down here. Magnitude of the hail, 1 inch in diameter near the Lake City area. Rochester reporting 1 inch diameter hail. We do have Arcadia that reported 3/4 inch diameter hail, and a couple of reports of 1 inch hail south of that area as well near Arcadia. Tornado warning does continue for this area here near Roberts in Wisconsin, across the Hudson area. Let's see if I can pull on a different radar. And then we'll go ahead and wrap up this coverage right now. I think the Wadena tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire. I would love to see what the Weather Service is thinking, and I'm going to take a look at that right now with regards to that storm in Hubbard County. Okay, so it does look like I'm not seeing anything from them with regards to what's going on there. Let's check out Duluth with the storm that's moving over Mille Lacs and see what's going on there. A lot going on here right now. Let's see. Yep, there it is. Strong storm moving north 40 over Lake Mille Lacs. Boom, boom, boom. May have tornado potential. Tornado warning strengthened. Okay, that's what's going on there. And now as we look at the Twin Cities, they have been very busy with active weather in and around the Twin Cities, now moving off into Wisconsin. So I am going to step aside, take a tall drink of water here and get a little bit of a break, and then I'll be back to keep you informed. But what we have going on, active weather in our area, the storms in Otter Tail County do have the risk of putting down a tornado tonight. There is spin in the atmosphere. Thank you for the comments, all of you. I appreciate each and every one of you. Do we have a second round coming through Otter Tail County, Hutch? There is another round of storms that's moving into Fargo right now, but as I turn on the ordinary radar, this will help all of us see this a little bit better. There is storms moving through Otter Tail County now. What's south of you is not severe. This little hook you see back here that wraps around and back is cold north winds. Once your winds change direction and become northerly, your severe risk is kaput. Now, when this line moves north of Otter Tail County, right now, there's nothing down here. Could there be some? Yes. So I'm not going to shut off the risk of any more storms forming. Most of the models did not show that. And once this wind becomes westerly, you're going to be pretty much done. Janie, thank you. Continuous thunder in West Fargo. Yeah, we have the line of storms making its way through. There's your continuous thunderbolts right here on Hutch's Weather. Grand Forks, you're hearing the same thing. None of these storms on the northern fringe have been severe, but they look like some real heavy rainers. We'll take the rain. Thank you very much. And speaking of which, as we look at the rainfall potential with these storms, it's pretty significant. We're talking, if you're under one of these gully washers, you're going to see a quick ½ inch of rain. And I'm going to go ahead and pull up the rainfall rates if I can here. Radar. Here's storm total precipitation estimates. So let's go to that first. Now, these colors are going to tell us what the rain estimates are from the Doppler radar. So the stuff moving into Grand Forks right now is putting down on its path a good 3/4 of an inch. So this whole band here, ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch. Mayville, Hunter, Central Cass County, Tower City maybe even getting a little bit more, Castleton getting a little bit more, getting down towards Leonard a little bit more as well with nearly an inch. West Fargo, right at the bend in the interstate here, you start seeing some of those purples. You got some good drinks of water there, a ½ inch or more. Wapton, Breckenridge with the storms that were making their way through to the north that were tornado warned just off to the east of this, 3/4 of an inch. Clouds very dark in front of my house. Saw some puppies of funnel clouds. Okay, Ethan, thank you very much. Let me know where you're watching from exactly when you give me these notices every time. It's helpful to me. I got bad memory and I can't remember where everybody lives. I do appreciate you though watching. Jonah, thank you. Are we expecting Fergus Falls to head to Fargo at all? No, these storms are moving north and east. Some of the storms in Fargo are moving northwest. So there is a chance that those could be pushing into northwestern Cass County. Back onto the rainfall amounts here, Sisseton Hills area, upwards of an inch. Britain, South Dakota, upwards of an inch. Lisbon and Points North, 3/4 of an inch. Jamestown picking up about 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch of rain. And Bismarck and Grant County, just today, 1.5 inches. But if we go back 2 days, we're over 4 inches of rain in some of those areas. In South Central North Dakota, 4 inches of rain. Is there a tornado expected in Brainerd? Amy asked that 13 minutes ago. Amy, there was a tornado warning in the Brainerd Lakes area moments ago. That warning has been allowed to expire. That storm's now making its way all the way up towards Nevis and south right now. So that one is out of there. Here's the rain track from it. There's the Brainerd Lakes area. You see this? Boom, shadizzle. And then this one too. So there's some heavier rain pumping out from those. We got a quarter of an inch to a half of an inch of estimated rainfall in and around Little Falls to Brainerd, about a quarter of an inch. Wilmer, down south central parts of Minnesota, Glencoe, around an inch of rain. Does that sound right, BA? That's could be your area. Mora picking up 9/10 of an inch as well. And not enough drops falling on the fire-ridden areas up there on the North Shore at this particular time. A lot of rain has fallen from these storms. Okay, I think that catches up that. Pedro was barking. Yes, he was. My dog barked when Pedro barked. Sorry about that there, Becky. Yeah, Pedro was, somebody was at the door. So thank you, Val, for your support of stars. I'm north of Lake Mille Lacs, getting dark. Jake, seek shelter. Let me get you an update right now. That storm continues in your general direction as it's working its way right over the lake. The tornado warning does continue for the Mille Lacs area right now. Lake Mille Lacs. Let's get down there. Oh boy, it's a sliver of a warning, and it's mainly over the central part of the lake. And I got to get the good radar data out. There it is. So the tornado warned storm is now way up here toward the North Shore. This is moving right towards you, Jake. I don't know where you're at compared to this. Highway 18, are you east of Garrison? If you are, you should be seeking shelter. I still see this little finger. You see my finger? That little finger there, that's the area of rotation right there. That's still present in the storm right now as we speak. So please keep that in mind. Seek shelter, even though the warning is not extended up into your area out there. You will not be able to see it. There's a rain shaft in front of it. You're going to see rain, maybe some small soft hail. And after that's when the rotating part of the storm will move through your area. So keep that in mind. Park Rapids, we continue with the tornado warning in the Nimrod area and points north. The storm is now making its way through Park Rapids, getting to the Mayville radar to get a closer view of that particular tornado warned storm. The warning expires in 4 minutes, but I'm just, let's go ahead and look at the velocity, see if we see some spin in these puppies down here that are still, there is spin right here. Okay, so there's a little bit of that going on, and that's pretty strong evidence on highway, what is it, south of Akeley, east of Nimrod still. And then in the Park Rapids area, not as much spin showing up on that particular display. So whole lot going on. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. I'm going to step aside for just a moment. Our activity right now in the area is continuing to show thunderstorms, heavy rain. There is some shear in some of these storms, particularly along this line moving out here. Keeping my eyes on that very closely. A whole lot of lightning and heavy thunderstorm activity working its way through the FM area right now. The single site radar does show that this little storm right here, see this little fish shape here? It's kind of what you'd see on your fish finder. That could be a storm that has some spin in it, and I'll take a quick look at that before I let you go, because I would not want to let you go if there's a tornado potential with that storm. So there's our little fingered storm working its way in northern parts of the county towards Vergas here. Motion away from Mayville and in red and toward Mayville in green. So that's not gate-to-gate shear that we call it. This is right here, a little bit north of Pelican Rapids. So there is a little bit of weak spin there. So we can't rule out that there'll be some spin. Maybe near Vergas, there's a little bit of weak spin. This is getting a little bit farther away from the radar. Look at this. Strong motion towards in northern Ottertail and Highway 10. Strong motion away just east of Wadena, east of Bluffton, it looks like to me. Yeah, New York Mills, there could be evidence of some very strong spin going on in your general vicinity there. So that storm is the one that has Hutch's attention right now with some sharper spin showing up on it. You can go back a little bit and see if that's been persistent or if it's just showing up in one scan. Yep, nope, it's been there for a couple scans. So I'm going to stop that, and I'm going to go back and look at the DOT cam here and see if I can see anything in your neck of the woods. All right, Minnesota, we're going to Perham. Everybody, buckle your seatbelts. We like to be safe here. And let's go down Highway 10 to Perham. So there's Wadena, there's Verndale, New York Mills. I just don't have any good cameras very close. Frazee. We can look at the world's largest turkey. We're not seeing much in the clouds, a little far away. Not seeing any evidence of anything there, but that's a long ways away from where it is I would like to see. Wadena, though, if we look there, we're right in town. And there's Verndale. That's going the wrong direction. And yeah, so I'm not going to be able to see much from that particular angle, but I am seeing a little bit in that general direction of you folks in the New York Mills area of some spin or shear in the storm that's working its way to the north. So cannot rule out a funnel cloud or tornado still in Lakes Country where there is the tornado watch. So I'll leave you, I've said that a few times now, I'll leave you with this. And if a warning is issued, I will be back. But for now, we do have tornado watch that's in effect for our area here. Not here, but here. The tornado watch is in effect until 8 o'clock tonight for the next 5 hours. This is the main event. Once it lifts north of this, then our threat is really going to be over. Once the wind turns west or northerly, the risk for tornadoes drops dramatically. The main line and main event is working its way up to the north. There is a risk of a tornado in and around Hubbard County. Been talking about that, but the tornado watch does continue until 8 o'clock. You can see the greens and reds next to each other here. Some spinning storms heading into the general direction of Lakes Country here. Vergas area, Cormorant Lakes chain, all of those areas. Not strong rotation, but some rotation nonetheless, particularly the cell near the New York Mills area. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. I'm going to check on my barky dog, and I'll get back to you very soon. I want to make sure that you're staying safe, and you can always get the latest information on hutchesweather.com anytime, anywhere. And just a quick note for those of you who have been so gracious to hang around for so long, coming up here in 1 hour, Hutch's Weather Kid. Cannot wait to introduce you to Hutch's Weather Kid this week. It's Jake Steinlich, and I cannot wait to talk weather and safety with you today. Bennett Elementary School. Jake, can't wait for everybody to meet you, and we will talk again. That'll be live on my channel and on hutchesweather.com at 4:30. For now, I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Stay tuned, everybody. Stay safe, and I will be back here momentarily.